There's nothing better than seeing the lights go on when somebody's learning a new movement, whether it be a turn or a stop or whatever that new whatever is. And to see that, aha, I got it, and the smile comes over, it's amazing.
We all look up to and emulate that kind of behavior and the way that he could teach. It was far and away one of the best eyes in the business for watching somebody and knowing how to progress them further. He was great.
When I think of Bill, I think, oh, that mustache. The kindness, the genuineness, the exceptional in everything he does kindness, the smile, the belly laughs, the chuckles, and he's always game. He's game to ski anything.
While you're asking me to describe Bill, he's amazing. He's the love of my life. He's the best husband I could ask for. He's engaging, he's fair, he's smart. He loves to impart everything that he's learned to other people. And I think he's a great guy.
My name is Bill Boness. And for years, I was the technical director at Achieve Tahoe, which is just a fancy way of saying I was a staff trainer. So January 1977 was returning from Southern California, going back to Montana, where I was working, helping a girlfriend at the time make the move up to Montana. And we were towing her little Volkswagen behind my little CJ5 Jeep. And I had probably overloaded her vehicle with stuff that we were moving. And one half of the tow bar came off and caused everything to go over a cliff, including the whole trailer Jeep flipping over each other a few times. And somewhere in the midst of all of that, twisted, went over the back of the seat and broke my back, broke my spine at T12L1. Finding sports as an adaptive athlete was just a natural course of action. I'm very competitive in my nature. Even the disability was a competition. I'm going to beat it. I also was injured at a really pivotal time in society where sports that had not been available to adaptive people were opening up for the first time. But the two that I really settled into were water skiing and snow skiing. And I made national teams on both. I also made a national team for sled hockey. Since I kind of came in as history was being made, it wasn't uncommon for people to be in multiple different sports at a very high level. So equipment was rudimentary at the beginning, and there's that very fast growth whenever something new emerges like this. So water skiing, I was definitely part of the original guinea pigs of the can ski, of what would later become the industry standard. Was very involved with different manufacturers in the snow skiing, giving feedback, looking for improvements. Again, just where I came into adaptive sports, it was a natural occurrence.
We started it was a ski program out of Cal State Chico, and that was around 1980. And that was our real first meeting with clients in skiing and adaptive skiing. There was a ski called an Arroyo that was literally a sled with two rails underneath. Imagine a ski pole cut 3 inches from the bottom with a handle on it. And that's what came with the Arroyo, and you were supposed to drag that. Bill was skiing in a sled, and he was skiing so fast. And it came with this tether, and I was supposed to tether him. But Bill's so tall, he was long, and he was flipping that thing with, like, every turn, he'd flip it over and go the other way. And then Catherine came up to us, out of the blue. We didn't even know who she was, and she asked for our certification cards.
I met Bill because he was in a sit ski, and we had just instituted a program at Alpine Meadows where you had to get a certification card in order to ski independently.
We had blank faces, yeah. I was supposed to be tethering him, and all I thought of is that I would hang this guy. He was flipping every which way, and she kind of shook her head and skied off.
And he was so mad about that he had to pass a test in order to free ski. And so I believe that our first encounter may not have been fraught with best of intentions, but we were able to smooth it out and become fast friends.
A few years later, I came back to Alpine, and there was a sled, but it was on a ski. And so I call Bill, I find him, I'm like, you gotta come and check this out. It was the Ski Bob. That was the first real mono ski that I remember anyways. And he came up to Alpine, where Catherine was for a couple years, and I had just arrived. And he nailed it. He ripped it. And after that, it was all over. You know, grin so big that his mustache straightened out. And he had to learn every bit about it, of course. You know, the why, the how, and how we did it. You know, he went all the way up to examiner and demo team so fast after that.
Bill is probably the most independent person I have ever met. Despite the fact that he's in a wheelchair, he is the one who clears our driveway with the snowblower. He clears our fire hydrants, and our neighbors all walk by. Our next door neighbor feels a little bad sometimes, and occasionally he can beat him out to the fire hydrant. He is always interested in doing things himself rather than having help. And skiing, skiing's always been a tough one because he's always tried to impart his independence on others.
I always tried to live by example and to be the role model that I thought others should strive for. And that independence was a big part of that, doing for yourself, not expecting others to help you. Even my time on the adaptive team, when I first got there, the wheelies were, they would show up, get off a bus, and they would just go into the hotel. And I would start unloading stuff. And I think the coaches and those that were around were kind of going, we got it. This is a team effort, We're all going to be in this together, and I'm going to do this. And that caught on, before very long. The other folks that were in chairs were sticking around and at least carrying their own gear in.
He really has made a lot of impact on the water skiing and the snow skiing community. When we first met, he was one of the best in the world already, and over the next 10 years, he really was the absolute best water skier that I have ever seen from a seated position. He's the first guy to jump 80 feet on a sit ski, which is amazing. There's still only a couple of other people who have done it, and that was quite a few years ago. 6 months after I met Bill, he went to the Lillehammer Paralympics, and he came back with 3 medals, 2 bronze and a silver medal, and he wasn't happy because it wasn't a gold.
I'm not going to say that sports was something that saved me. The competition itself is what I enjoyed. When I won, I felt good, and when I lost, I was like, okay, back to the drawing board. We're going to do better next time.
He was the first guy to do so many things. He was the first seated skier to run the able-bodied slalom course the absolute first in 1999, maybe. It was a very difficult feat. He worked super hard for that. Years after that, in snow skiing, he was the first demo team member that was a seated skier. And I didn't know much about snow skiing and instruction for snow skiing at the time, but that's a really big deal. So he doesn't like to brag on his own accomplishments, but those are a few that are pretty stellar.
His resume as a champion water skier is quite lengthy. I think it's funny because he's a great water skier. He had got a silver medal in the Paralympics, but I always thought that his best display of athleticism was when he could ski backwards with a student on subway holding a PVC pole and guiding their turns for them. I thought that was the best display of athletics I've ever seen from him.
The people that work for Achieve or that volunteer for Achieve, there's definitely a special type of person that is going to be in that arena. There's a giving, there's a caring, there's a big-hearted kind of person, and that's really nice to be around. There's a good vibe, a good energy. I think I'm just the consummate teacher. I enjoy sharing knowledge with other people, whether it be at a ski instructor level. I enjoy enlightening. There's a certain spirit of the person that wants to volunteer or to work with the special populations that come through Achieve. So the people are one, but there's nothing better than sharing a stoke, sharing something that excites you with somebody else. Seeing that aha moment when they figure out how to turn. I enjoy teaching. I enjoy sharing that kind of knowledge.
One of Bill's legacies at Achieve Tahoe might be, and in all the adaptive skiing really in the world, is how he brought the similarities between stand-up skiing, how the same physics and mechanics move throughout everybody's abilities.
It was very comforting to me to know that there was another person at Achieve Tahoe that really felt the technical aspects of skiing to be important. Really examining how a ski works, how a sit-down skier is so much akin to a stand-up skier. And Bill was we used to call him a techno nerd because he was great at the technical. And if I had a question about biomechanics or physics or the phases of the turn, I would immediately call him up, and he was the man.
Working with Bill, that's a funny one. Actually, Bill and I, we work really well together. We see things very differently. And that's probably one of the reasons that we've been pretty successful with our water ski coaching. We've had a lot of amazing athletes go on to do really great things. And Bill is definitely the technical part of it. I'm the feely part of it. Oh, that looks good. That's perfect. And I have to say, because of Bill, I actually have learned the technical aspects of water skiing much better. It's just made a really great partnership.
I think I asked Bill, would you ever take back that accident? Would you ever redo any part of your life? And he said, absolutely not. I wouldn't have met you. I wouldn't have met this ski school. I wouldn't have met my wife. And it's his positive attitude that rubs us the great way. Yeah.
I think Bill's legacy in all adaptive sports is making them better, leaving everything that he's done in a better place with his desire to be a better athlete, to figure out how to do things the more efficient way, the better way to be more successful. I think he drives other people to want to be more successful. Sometimes people don't understand how much work that Bill has put into his craft, and it's amazing. I mean, he's basically taken everything, breaking it down, and making it better so that he can have a more successful career. And that's a lot of work.
I'm totally thrilled, way beyond time for Bill to get this award, and it is so deserving. A Lifetime Achievement Award for somebody who dedicated himself to our program and our participants, training our instructors, and helping us all to be the best that we could be. No one more deserving than Bill Bowness.
What does this award mean to me? One, I'm very proud. I've been bestowed many honors, Hall of Fames and recognitions, but this one is of particular significance because this is coming from a family. It's coming from people that mean a lot to me. So I'm gonna get all choked up here. Yeah, it's important.
For Bill to get this Lifetime Achievement Award, it's twofold, of course, right? There's excitement because he has had such a wonderful career. And at the same time, there is a little bit of sadness in knowing that his life is changing. And I know how much he loves skiing, and I know how much he loves water skiing. And it's a different time in his life. And it's a better time now. We get to travel, to have fun. We've always had vacations and always tagged on to events, but now we're in those years where we get to enjoy things without having to think about competitions and how to think about making sure that we're prepared for clinics and these sort of things. So it's exciting to move on to that next phase, but a little sad at the same time.
Don't ask me if I miss him, because I really miss him. But, you know, Bill needed to move on, you know. It's like a lot of the guys and gals in wheelchairs, all their years and years of athletic endeavors are catching up with them, shoulders, backs. And, you know, Bill has moved on to another phase in his life, and really happy for him, but I miss him terribly.
Every part of his body he's used to the limit over and over and over again. He needs to know that he's always in our hearts. He will always be in our hearts. He's always going to be a part of adaptive skiing for us. He's had such an impact on so many people, and me included.